What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the weekly market analysis. If you're new, every week we go through some of the pairs, some of the strategy mode trades that Navigator is currently showing. So we'll go through, what setups to avoid, which are the repeated trades, which ones look really good, which ones are new, and then you guys are going to be able to pick and choose some of the good setups. The first one here we have Usdchf, and this one has been going on for a while. It already hit TP1, but it's still above our long entry, and it looks like that level is actually gaining more strength. So we could expect, for TP1 to be hit, and then also for TP2 to be hit as well, or TP3, however you want to call it. So this is still a good trade. If you want to set it up, we can see some wicks here pointing into that support, showing that there's still some rejection there. So this one is still good to go. Great trade to set up. We're still expecting this one to go up a little more. Next up, we have Gbp Chf. This one just hit TP2, so if you're in this trade, well done. You stuck out all the way to the last TP point, so this trade should most likely be closed, and you've profited both on TP1 and TP2, or TP1, TP2, and TP3. If this trade does come back into our long entry, it will be a repeated trade. So this one already played out a couple times. So we can see this was probably the first entry here, and we did hit TP1 here. And then this was the second entry, so hit TP again. Probably didn't get triggered on this one. So if it does come back down, that'll be the third time entering that trade. So if you didn't profit on the second one, I'll be a little more careful on the third one. So this is probably not going to be the best trade. But that being said, we do see still some really good rejection in this area. You can see how price is always going into the level and then going up. I would keep this in your watch list and just see, it's not going to just come down here right away. It'll probably take some time to get back into that support. So just keep it in your watch list and then just have a look, once a week to see what it's doing, if that trade is still active or not. But yeah, TP3 hit, good job. We'll move on to the next. USD is a trade that actually is no longer available. So we already hit TP3 on this, and it's now a no trade zone. So now we're just waiting for the algo to find new opportunities that have a high probability on your USD. So I'm actually gonna remove this one from my watch list. That one I'm no longer looking at. AUD USD, same thing. I don't know why it's still in here. I'm gonna remove it from my list. Euro NZD. Same thing, we can remove that from the list. Next up here we have USD Jpy, which actually just got triggered. So this is a really fresh trade. This is the first entry, so this is a really good trade to set up. Of course, you can't set up right now as of the time of the recording. When this gets released, you're probably going to be either in profit, or if price is trading below, then you can set up your entries. So we want price to move below or short entry. Once it's below this short entry box, then you can set up your sell limit order. So right now it's still in that box. If you're not in this trade right now, if you don't have this set up, wait for price to come back down, right? So this was not available yet last week when we did the last trade reviews, but it is here now, and this is a good trade. It's fresh. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how this one will play out. Again, if you're just watching this, if you're not a member, you're gonna see how this one performs probably next week. So move on to the next. USDCHF, very similar scenario. It's a fresh trade, so we got a short entry over here. Has not played out yet, so we're just waiting for price to move into that area. This is a really good trade to set up. So if you don't have this set up, go to the BFT panel and then set up your sell limits and your TP and your stop loss, and then just wait for price to come into your short entry. Once it does, your sell orders will be triggered, and then you're in the trade. We don't want to open any sell stops. We don't want to do any market execution. We just want to set up our limits and let it do its thing. Next one up, we got Gbp Usd. Gbp Usd is still showing the same thing. We do have a long entry here, which is a really good setup. Some of you actually got in on the speed test over here. I personally didn't get triggered on this, but a lot of you are. So if you did, you just hit TP3 as well. We might come back down here. So this is a good trade opportunity. It's still fairly fresh. I will consider this kind of the first trade, the first time it hits. This, even though we have this, it's not really the full retest on a long entry. People did get triggered here, which is awesome, but this is still a very fresh trade. Moving on to CAD CHF. So this one is also fresh. If you have this set up, you also got triggered. This is a very new trade, so this only got populated a few days ago. There's still some potential to move further up, so now is a good time to set up your sell limits if you haven't. Of course, at the time of this recording, this is how it looks. If you're watching this, it's probably already going to look different. But again, this is a good trade, even if price does move below it. If price moves below that box, you can still set up your sell limits. There's a high chance price is gonna basically it's gonna go down, come back up, retest it, and then fall to TP1. Okay, awesome. GBPNZD, again, very fresh setup, very good looking setup. I like this one. It looks good. So we basically broke this neutral level, and now we want price to come back, retest that level, and then take us up. Nothing really here to explain much. It's a new trade, so just set up your buy limits and wait to get triggered. Next up, we have Ncd Jpy. This one has been triggered once. So if it does come back down, there'll be a second opportunity to get in. It does look like a good trade. So we got this resistance that turned into support. So we can at least, I'm thinking, expect TP1 again. Like always, we can predict the market, right? We can only take trades based on probability and based on the levels. So this looks like a good setup. It's not too old, not too new, it's right in between, but we do have a good support over here. So next up, we do have a commodity here, corn, with a good opportunity. So a long entry on corn is available. It would be the second time it played out. This was the first one here, this is the second one. I also do like to go through the indices sometimes. The most traded one is the US 30. No opportunities on the US 30 right now. And the NAS, nothing on there right now either. The other ones, they're really just noise. I don't really look at those too much. I know some people, they like to trade the DE30. That one looks quite good. We have a nice long entry on this one. So if your broker does support this, this looks like an okay setup. That'll be the second time. So the first time would be, this here would be our first entry. And then here we hit TP1 and then we hit TP3 already. So if you're in this trade, good job. And now it's just coming back down to take another entry. So if you can set this up, and I'll take it up to the TP1, TP2, and TP3. And those are the trades for the week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments down below. Make sure to join a Telegram chat where you can ask questions, get feedback on your trades, make sure you're staying in the game and you're doing everything correctly. We have some really good opportunities for this week. Like I said, there's some really good fresh ones and some repeated ones. But we do have a lot of new trades that came in just because the market has had some good movements during last week. So that created some new opportunities for us to enter. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.